Thank you so much, Amanda, not only for that incredibly kind introduction, but that incredibly thought-provoking address to start us off this evening. Wow, look at this crowd. So many distinguished people. I'm kind of excited. Prime Minister, Premier, Ambassador. It's great to have you all here, and it's my absolute pleasure on behalf of the citizens of Calgary to welcome StFX's National Dinner here this year. We hope that this will become a great tradition. After all, this is, the center of business in Canada. So it's important that a university that is clearly not just a university for the region, it's certainly not just a university for Antigonish, but a university for Canada and indeed a university for the world, chooses to be here with us today and to give us a chance to honor all the good work that it's done. And truth be told, there are a lot of X-rings in this city, and a lot of X-rings really making sure that this city is better and better and better. My friend Colin MacDonald, my friends the LeBlanc brothers, of course Dr. Lucy Miller, the new leader of our United Way, the entire Catholic school system. At least I know what the rings mean. But it's also a real pleasure tonight to honor that wonderful StFX alumnus, Prime Minister Mulroney. I have a story for you. 1988. Imagine, there's an election going on. A 16-year-old kid happens to be at a roundtable on the future of healthcare, as you do when you're 16, and he hears that the Prime Minister will be speaking at an election rally just down the street. Well, he's not in school anyway, so he figures here's a chance to see the Prime Minister speak, and the name tag from the roundtable certainly helps him get in. Now, the Prime Minister is talking about free trade, giving a characteristically eloquent address on the future of free trade. The kid, unconvinced, may in fact say something in the crowd. The Prime Minister, in his way, looks over and says, "Young man, free trade will ensure that you have a job." The 16-year-old looks up and says, "But I don't want to work at McDonald's." And later, when my uncle phoned me from Toronto and said, "Do you know you're at the top of the national news tonight? And what did you say to the Prime Minister?" So I want it known, sir. My career in fast food was blissfully short, and in the 24 years since, I certainly took advantage of the so-called NAFTA visa in order to serve clients in the United States. So I might begrudgingly admit, Prime Minister, you may well have been right. I asked Amanda earlier if I could get away with that story. I want to say one other thing, as a way of welcoming all of you today, that when we hear the Prime Minister tonight, as we are all here gathered together tonight, Frank McKenna is here. He didn't bring his green chair for once. But as we're all here tonight, we'll be hearing a lot about public service. We'll be hearing a lot about community. And so let's take tonight not only to celebrate the great contributions of StFX, but let's take tonight as well to recommit ourselves, each and every one of us, to doing what we can to build greater communities, to build a greater StFX community, to build a greater Calgary, to build a greater Canada, to build a greater world. That's what this Three Things initiative, I wasn't going to talk about it, Amanda, but since you mentioned it, is all about. It's so simple, and that's why I wear this number 3. Just reminding people that we all have in our power, and we should make this year the year that every one of us do 3 things for the community. They could be big things. They could be joining the alumni board at StFX, taking on a new volunteer role. They could be small things. On a day like today, shoveling your neighbor's walk. But what really matters is that they're things that every single one of us can do, that we can do with our own hands, our own minds, our own hearts, and our own souls to make our communities better. So we'll do that today. We're going to be inspired by incredible leaders, and I hope that each of us can find that spark of leadership and, more important, of service within ourselves. I know those are values that we learn at StFX, and I hope they're values that we can put in touch every single day. So thank you so much for having me, and thank you again to StFX for hosting this dinner here in Calgary. We're thrilled to have you. Have a great evening.